Hello everyone, it's Kim here from the Palmore Institute in Kobe. Long time no see everyone. I hope you're all fine. We're going through a very challenging period during this coronavirus, so I hope you're all well. Anyway, today I'm going to introduce a video to you. This is what I'm going to be talking about today. Recommended media for improving your listening skills. You may have noticed that some of the other teachers have actually made videos for different lessons for speaking, reading, and TOEFL, etc. Unfortunately, we can't do any listening materials because of copyright laws. So what I'm going to introduce to you today is some free media that you can actually practice your listening skills. Okay, so let me introduce some of the things I'm going to look at today. First one is going to look at NHK TV news in English, and the second one is NHK World Japan on the internet. Then next one is TED Talks. I'm sure that some of you are familiar with that. Then another one is I'm going to introduce a popular YouTuber, Chika Yoshida, and she's quite interesting, so I'll talk more about that later. And of course, last one is just previous textbooks. Okay, so let's start with the first one then. So let's have a look at NHK News in English. NHK News in English is available from Mondays to Fridays at 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and also on Saturdays and Sundays, broadcasted at 7 p.m. Now, take note that the 7 o'clock broadcasts are every day, so from Sunday to Saturday, they're only for 30 minutes. And on weekdays, on Monday to Friday, the 9 o'clock broadcast, that's 1 hour. Okay, now make sure the most important thing is that you have to press the bilingual button, which is written here, bilingual button on your remote control. So usually, of course, you watch the broadcast in Japanese, but if you press the bilingual button, then you'll be surprised to hear that English comes out. Okay. What I suggest, it's free. It's available on TV. If you record the news broadcast on DVD or even on a HDD recorder, and the method to practice that. So let's have a look at this method on practicing listening to the news. Number one, listen to the news broadcast in English, okay, first, and take notes on place names, people's names, numbers, even other nouns or verbs that you hear, okay. Number two, okay, listen again and then add extra information to the notes that you've already written, okay. If you want to challenge yourself, try to make fuller sentences, okay. So the first listening, you added just a few words, maybe nouns and other words that you've heard. Then the second listening, try to make the sentences longer. Okay. Then step number 3 is basically finally listen to the news in Japanese and then check your listening comprehension. Okay, by comparing your notes. So of course, listen to the English broadcast twice. Okay, try to get the gist of the actual news broadcast. Then the third time, switch over back to the bilingual, back to Japanese, and then listen to the news in Japanese. And then try to check your listening comprehension. Okay, so that's with NHK News on TV. That's free. Okay, now the second one is we're going to look at NHK World Japan, which is on the internet. Okay. Now, NHK World Japan, this is a news broadcast in English by fluent English speakers. Some of them are native English speakers, and some of them are Japanese speakers who've studied abroad in America, and they speak English very well. Okay, now just be careful with the when you get into the website. Now the web address is just on the bottom here. You will find that some of the each broadcast, underneath each broadcast, there's a simplified report of the news, and that's displayed after the video. And so again, it's a simplified report, but it helps to reinforce your comprehension of the actual news broadcast. Now, let me give you one point regarding when you check the website, that you'll find that, for example, like this is news about government to declare state of emergency. Now, as you can see, the red circle, so you see the red circle with a white triangle, okay? This is an actual video, okay? So you can actually click on that and then watch the video, and here I said there's the simplified report of the actual news. But you have to be careful. Sometimes you may see other news reports. So, for example, like this Individual tests COVID-19 vaccine on humans, okay? You don't see the actual red circle with the white triangle. So this is not a video. This is just the actual news article on the actual website. So again, to watch the videos, look for basically the red icon, and that's the actual video. No icon, then it's just the actual news article. Okay, so that's regarding NHK World Japan. Okay. Now the next one on the list is TED Talks. I'm sure that some of you are familiar with that. Let's go through this. Now, TED itself stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. Okay, these are presentations in English by experts on a wide variety of topics such as business, science, education, technology, and creativity. Now, remember, some of these speakers are not native English speakers. Okay, so experts from various countries, but they all speak in English. Okay, now there are subtitles. Okay, sometimes the pronunciation may be difficult for you to understand, or the speed may be too fast. So there are subtitles that you can actually see to watch the presentations, and these subtitles are available up to 100 different languages, but most of them are probably around 25 to 30 different languages. Okay, now you have also the option to slow or fasten the speed of the presentation while viewing. Okay, now it's very easy to find. You just go into the internet, and then it's just www.ted.com. Okay, let me give you an example. This is a presentation by Shigeru Ban, who's a very famous Japanese architect who designs buildings from cardboard. Okay, so this is the actual presentation. Now let me explain the controls when you actually go to TED Talks. Now, as you can see, there are 4 controls on the bottom there. Okay, let me explain what the controls mean. Okay, so the first one, you can see where there's the speaker, so if you're adjusting the volume. Okay, then the second, the green one, this is to select to turn on the subtitles on and off, or to select the language that you want. If you want the subtitles to be in Japanese, or do you want the subtitles to be in English, then that's the button that you press. The next one is basically to slow the speed or to fasten the speed. So if you find the presentation is too quick, you can actually slow down the actual playback, and so then it'll be easier. If you want to challenge yourself, you can make it a little bit faster. Okay, then the last button is if you want full screen. So just remember those basically screen controls there. Okay, so that's TED Talks. And another one I'd like to introduce to you is a popular YouTuber. Okay, and the YouTuber is Chika Yoshida, and her basically she has a website called Bilingual English Conversation. She's a Japanese YouTuber who is very popular for English learners. Okay, she was born in Japan, grew up in the USA. I think she lived there for about 16 years, graduated from university, and came back to Japan and started working for a foreign company in Japan. Then she started making videos introducing English learning content on her videos. Okay, again, same thing. When you watch her videos on YouTube, subtitles are available, and you also have the option to adjust playback and speed. Okay, and this is her website, just on website address just on the bottom there. Okay, so you can just basically type in the website address, or if you like, you can actually just type in bilingual English conversation, bilingual English conversation, and you actually see her. Now, One of the most interesting videos I watched is when she actually had an interview with Will Smith, and that's the address on there, or otherwise you can just on YouTube type in Chika Yoshida and Will Smith. It's a very entertaining video. I mean, I think she first started to make these videos for Japanese people to learn, to provide English content. But it's kind of slightly changed because it's also popular for foreigners as well, because we can also learn about Japanese culture. So, I mean, the videos are fantastic. I mean, they're for Japanese learners of English and also for foreigners who want to study Japanese. Because in the video, sometimes she speaks in Japanese and sometimes she speaks in English. Let me just give you a picture of Chika. This is her, okay? And as you can see, the subtitles, okay? They have English on the top and then Japanese on the bottom. So obviously, her marketing is to not only Japanese people, but also to foreigners as well, okay? Now, on YouTube, you just have to be careful of the screen controls too. They are just slightly a little bit different from the TED Talks one. So you can see these. I've just enlarged them, okay? And you can just see the first one is the subtitles, if you want the subtitles on and off, okay? And the next one is to slow the speed and also to select the language, okay? And then the last one is the full screen. So just take note of those controls. They're a little bit different on YouTube, okay? Okay, and the final point is basically, it's not really media, but looking at previous textbooks. So some of you, of course, have taken our listening classes and you still have your textbook. So what I suggest is, review the previous listening texts from previous semesters. You can practice dictation with the homework CD that you have. Some of the textbooks did have CDs in the back of the textbook. If they didn't, then the teachers would have provided you a homework CD. Okay. Now, the method to practice dictation is, we'll have a look at this method just on the bottom there, is first listen to the conversation and fill in the following information. So get a piece of paper and write these 5 WH questions, who, where, when, what, and why. So for example, while you're listening, first one, who's talking? Okay. Next, where? Where is this conversation taking place? Next, when? When is the conversation taking place? Next, what are they talking about? What is the conversation about? And the last one is why. Okay, so if you get a piece of paper, write those 5 WH questions, then when you listen to the first time, try to fill in notes to these 5 WH questions. Number 2, listen again and add extra information. Okay, challenge yourself by making fuller sentences, by adding prepositions, articles, adverbs, and so on. Okay. Finally, step 3, check the accuracy of your listening comprehension by comparing your notes with the transcripts that you already have. So when you had your homework checked by the teacher would have given you the transcripts. So you've got those transcripts, look at your notes, and then compare how good your listening is. Okay, so basically those are those 5 different methods that you can practice listening. Okay, as I said, mention again, so NHK TV News in English, next NHK World Japan, and next TED Talks, and 4th one is the popular YouTuber Chika Yoshida, and finally previous textbooks. Okay, so that's all. So unfortunately we couldn't give you any listening materials, but hopefully there's a lot of free stuff available on the internet. Okay, and one last thing I'd like to show you. I want you to have a look at this. Okay, do you know what this is? Okay, this was drawn by my wife and given to me, and it's called amabie. Okay, it's quite popular now. Okay, and it's basically a kind of good luck charm. So people draw the amabie and pass it on to people they care about, and it's supposed to, legendary. What was believed long time ago in Japan, that by having this picture it would protect you against any diseases or epidemics and so on. Okay, so let me just do a listening activity with you. I'll read you a text, okay, and I'll give you 5 questions to look at, okay. So while I'm reading the text about the amabie, I want you to look at these questions, okay. Number 1, what kind of power does an amabie possess? 2, when and where did the amabie first appear? 3, why was a town official sent to the sea? Number 4, what did the amabie inform the official? And 5, how can the amabie help people? Okay, so let me just read something out to you. This is a free listening exercise. Okay, and you've got these 5 questions. Okay, so listen carefully while I read something about the amabie. Okay, an amabie is a legendary Japanese creature which has the power to prophesize an abundant harvest or an epidemic. The amabie first supposedly appeared in an old province called Higo, which now today is Kumamoto Prefecture, and it first appeared in 1846. During that period, a town official from Higo was sent to investigate reports of a glowing object that appeared every night in the sea. So this Higo official then went to the sea, and he encountered a creature coming out of the sea. It introduced itself as amabie, and then told the Higo official a prophecy. And the amabie said, "There will be a good harvest for 6 years, and if disease would spread, a picture of myself should be given to people to protect themselves against any sickness." So, before the amabie disappeared into the sea, the Higo town official quickly drew a picture of the amabie so that its image would be given to people for protection. So this legendary creature has now become popular in Japan. So my wife gave me this. Okay, so I give this to you, or show it to you, or provide it to you, so you'll be protected against this coronavirus, as the amabie protects us against any epidemics or pandemic. Okay, that's one more thing. The difference between an epidemic and pandemic. Epidemic is basically some disease in one particular region or area. Okay, so for example, if there was an epidemic in Osaka, it's only in the Osaka area, one region. It doesn't go to Hyogo, Wakayama, or Tokyo, and so on. Okay, that's an epidemic. But a pandemic, it spreads everywhere. So for example, this coronavirus is a pandemic. It spread to other countries, it spread to other continents. Okay, so that's the difference between a pandemic and epidemic. Okay, so anyway, hopefully you have this, and this will protect you. Okay, well, that's it. Okay, well, take care of yourselves. Okay, and so please continue studying English, and I hope you're all safe. Yeah, stay safe, stay well, and as they say, stay home. Okay, take care, and hope to see you soon in the very near future. Bye.